Okay.
Let's take the other mic.
Okay, before we start. Oh, this is the one. Okay. Okay, before we start, I'll give a brief profile of Venerable Dr. G. Chandima, and then, yeah, walking stick.
No, better to hand the boat. Hold the boat better.
Okay, so then Venerable lead us to do the puja before we give the talk. Okay, okay, I'll give a brief introduction of Venerable. And his talk, as you notice on the board today, is a Buddhist take on love. Is love without attachment possible? Bhante Dr. G. Chandima is an associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies at Mahachulalongkorn Rajadwidyalaya University in Thailand and a research scholar at the Ronin Institute in USA. His research centers on Theravada Sutta, Abhidhamma, and Buddhist ethics. A former research fellow at the University of Victoria, Canada, he recently published an article on, very long word. He recently published an article on Sikha Pachakana in the Journal of Buddhist Ethics. His works includes the globally ranked Patisota blog, can be accessed at http://patisota.blogspot.com. So without further ado, okay, let's put our hands together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Brother Abu. Give a message to her whenever someone talks. Turn the camera to that side and give the mic also at the same time.
Question and answer.
I think I better take the other mic because I walk around. So yeah. Maybe this mic. No. Just give me the boat.
This one?
Give me the boat there. Boat. No, give me the boat there. I will give you at that time. Huh? Yeah. Puja. Short puja, right? Okay. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, brother. I forgot the name. Thank you, Brother Tan and Brother Wu, and everybody who have gathered here to listen to this Dhamma talk on this special day, Malaysia Day. You don't call it a Malaysia Day special, but interesting day. Before we get started, shall we do a short puja, very short puja, and we'll get started. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Maybe I can give you 5 precepts. Better. Say Namo Tassa. I think you already said that. Please repeat after me. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Just repeat after me. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. 5 precepts. Panati pata biramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinnādāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmisu micchāchārā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surāmeraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we are going to do the Vandana part. Buddha Vandana, Dhamma Vandana and Sangha Vandana. Itipiso bhagavā arahang sammā sambuddho vicchācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaru purisa dhamma sārati sattā deva manussānaṁ buddho bhagavāti swākkhato bhagavatā dhammo sandintiko akāliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccattaṁ veditambu viññuhete supatipanno bhagavatu sāvaka sangho ujupatipanno bhagavatu sāvaka ñāya patipanno bhagavatu sāvaka sangho sāmīci patipanno bhagavatu sāvaka sangho yadidang cattari purisa yugani anta purisa pungana esa bhagavatu sāvaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaneyo anuttarang puññaṃ kettaṃ lokasāti sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, now we are going to start off our Dhamma sharing, Dhamma talk. Today's Dhamma sharing is about something very interesting, as you can see. How does the Buddha look at the mundane love? It's called love. And then I made it a little bit curious to understand whether Is love without attachment possible? Right? So this is our topic. So we're going to be discussing about what the Buddha talks about the mundane love, that the personal mundane love, and then whether is it possible for anyone to love somebody without attachment. First of all, I want to say that there is a misunderstanding here. The misunderstanding is, what is this attachment? Where does it belong to? What is the Buddhist teaching about attachment? In English, they call it attachment. But we do have a lot of attachments, starting from the emails. We attach a lot of things to our email and attach bathrooms, lot of attached things now. So attachment is not a new thing to us. Sometimes people are very worried when they don't have an attached bathroom, right? They have to go out of the room and go to the bathroom. So they would like to have the attached bathroom inside the room. Things are easy. They don't have to bother other people. So this English word attachment is being used by mainstream people to talk about that we can love someone without attachment. But what is the Buddhist idea on that? Actually, this idea is wrong. Let me tell you, love comes with attachment. So you cannot separate it out. So attachment is built within the love. So we cannot separate it. But there is another problem. The problem is not attachment. Because when we are enjoying especially your life, without attachment, you are not going to enjoy your life. You make a reference to the object, the person, something. So we are going to look at what is that real problem. It's not attachment. The real problem, I will give you a heads up, lobha, greed. So then we have to adjust this topic. I put it this way just to make you curious. A Buddhist take on love is love without greed possible. Lobha possible. Is love without greed possible? That is, to be honest, the real topic. But I put it this way because people understand this topic with attachment or without attachment. It's implied. All right, so I'm not going to read everything, but I just read the most important ones. So now you can see here, the topic is love with an attachment good delves into the complex interplay between love and attachment. That's in the Western English context. Exploring whether the presence of attachment enhances or hinders the quality and health of a relationship. That is the dialogue that people have in their own life normally. But in Buddhism, love and attachment are inherently linked. So they are linked together. One often accompanies the other. The key concern is not the presence of attachment itself, but whether greed infiltrates that love. Now then, we are again questioning about this greed part, lobha part. Definition of love: an emotional bond characterized by affection, care, and deep connection. So we should not misunderstand love with metta. Right? So you are exhibiting metta here, metta mindfulness. Metta 24 hours, metta mindfulness, metta 48, 27, 72 hours, metta 365 days. Right? So we should not misunderstand love with metta, because there is a stanza in the Metta Sutta about the mundane love. Can you remember that stanza? Mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakke. Just as a young mother who has only one son takes care of that son, even by sacrificing her life. In the same way, we have to practice metta. Now people don't understand this interesting point. Now when you see a young mother who has one son, and the love that she is giving to that particular son is a mundane personal love. But within that love, she is unconditional. Right? She is unconditional. Now metta cannot be a personal kind of a mundane kind of thing. Metta is a broader kind of a thing. But within that broader practice, we have to be unconditional. Our unconditional context and the personal unconditional context, they are two different stuff. But the sacrifice is the similar. The sacrifice. Now, say for instance, you have a loved one, maybe your parents, maybe your husband, wife, children, and you are ready to sacrifice, compromise anything at that point. Even animals. Sometimes we have seen some female animals, they sacrifice their life for their children, right? Just to save, at least to give them one more day, right? Even in some countries, even the bomba came in, in an accident, they try to protect the children first and then the adults. Why is it? That's a law in the fire brigade. The thing is that they have to protect the one who lives longer by default. They don't touch the elderly. They touch the babies first. Whether we can save the baby first, and then slowly they go up. They might not tell that to you, but this is what, in some countries, I don't know, this is the norm in every country. I know this is from Canadian context. They look at whether they are toddlers, babies first, they protect them first because they can live longer. So there is the love that we understand in terms of a young, but we understand it from an unconditional context. Mother does it in her own way for her personal love, but we take it as an unconditional context to the metta. Can you love everybody? Or can you metta everybody? Can you love everybody or can you metta everybody? People have mixed up these two everywhere. In Christianity, they say you love your neighbor, you love everybody, you love everybody. Everybody, right? And then in other religions also they are talking about this thing, love everybody, love your neighbor, love everybody. In Buddhism, what is our understanding? Now, not even Buddhism, what's your personal understanding? Can you give the same love that you give to your husband and wife, children, to other families? Let's be honest. Can you? No. You are trying to say, I have a secret place for you in my heart, special place for you. So don't misunderstand. And when I do my volunteering activities, when I do charity work, it's a different. So I separate it out. See, I can metta other people, but love certain loved ones, yes. It's okay. That's how you look at it. Because you want to give a special place to your loved ones. So we understand personal love and metta, they are two things. But definitely when you love your loved ones, and then you can definitely metta everybody else. Now, is love akusala? That's a very interesting question. Is loving someone making me into akusala, unwholesome, evil thoughts? Now when you look at our Buddhist, certain Buddhist cultures, I'm not going to mention their names, they normally think that relationships, marriages, being together, they are really not, not, yeah, that, the battery, yeah, they are not, they are not good things according to Buddhism. So we have to stop them, we have to walk away from them, and we have to embrace a life of not having any of those things. But what they don't know is that they haven't read Buddhism extensively. Maybe they listen to a Dhamma talk from Dhamma speaker. Maybe they read a very minimal book from somewhere where these I think I get the new mic here. And they may have read something, maybe they have understood something in a very minimal, kind of a very limited way. But when you read Buddhism, when you read stories, when you read certain people, you understand that there were people much better than these people who are trying to leave the house. Say for instance Vishaka, the lady named Vishaka. It is said that this is one example, there are many other examples. Vishaka became a Sotapanna, the first enlightenment, at the age of 7. And then she married to a man, that means after dating, by being a Sotapanna. Now you might question, how does a Sotapanna date someone? Interesting, huh? You ask this question from these people who are really disturbed in their mind. They are their own disturbers of their own peace. And then she dated, and she married, and she got children. She got 500 grandchildren, Vishaka. Right? And finally it doesn't say she went to Nibbana, she went to Nimmanarati heaven. Right? There are many other stories. But there are people who want to become monks and nuns just to become Sotapanna. They just want to become Sotapanna by becoming a monk and nun. If you want to be that, you go for it. But you don't have to be. Because they have mixed up the love, the affection, this part we are discussing. So, is love unwholesome, evil? The answer is not necessarily by default. But it can become problematic if greed is introduced into that relationship. But if they are bringing greed, lobha, then it will be a problem. We will talk about what is lobha as we talk the topic. So lobha is the problem, greed. If there is a greed coming into relationship, then that love is going to be ruined, destroyed. Now these are things that people expect in a relationship with regard to love. They want to be near the people that they want to be. They feel like it's like a safe haven, security, and if they don't have the opportunity to be around these loved ones, they feel it's like a distress, stress. And even animals, you can see animals from, if you don't walk them in the evening, they become really mad, because everybody wants to belong to someone. I mean, today's world, people, they talk about it. I don't want to belong to someone. But there's something called sense of belonging. It's a happiness. Sense of belonging. Who you going to belong in this regard is a different problem. But the sense of belonging is a happiness. That's why people are looking for this thing, even in the modern world. Sometimes they cannot find out anybody. So they would like to find it from the pets. Because when we ask about these questions from them, not everybody, but majority. Why are you petting these people? You know what, humans, I don't trust them anymore, They have a conditional connection to us. They take advantage from our life. So these dogs, cats, they even talk to us now. Right? So they are giving unconditional love to us. It looks to be that they have already lost the trust among him, which is a very bad idea, because you won't find kalyana mittas among dogs, among cats, right? What if that your last thought is going to be about a dog? What will happen to you? Just imagine. Then I tell you the sutta, Kukkuravatiya Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. In this sutta, Buddha says, somebody asked from the Buddha, Bhante, you see, in the corner of that area, there is someone who sleeps like a dog, who talks like a dog, means barks, who eats like a dog. What will happen to him when he passes away? Then the Buddha said, it's very simple, become a dog. That is what he's been doing for long. Then in another area, there is somebody he is asking. He eats like a cow. He walks like a cow. And he ruminates. He ruminates what he eats. And then he doesn't talk, whatever the things that are coming out of his speech like a cow's sound. What will happen to him? Simple. He has been practicing life as a cow, he will become a cow. It's simple. Kukkuravatiya Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. Buddha clearly says this thing. That means whatever the activities you've been doing for the most part of your life before you die will be the format of your next life. Then be surrounded with the Kalyana Mittas, humans. Can you guarantee whether you will see humans again after this life? You can see animals everywhere, cobras, snakes. We respect animals, we have to take care of them, we have to spend money sometime. But don't leave humans for your inability to keep up relationships. Right? That's very important. There was a time that one monk passed away. And then other monks, now they are trying to cremate his body now. Then the Buddha prevented cremating him. The other monks asked, why? He is already dead. Because this monk will come to his robe as a moth. So if you cremate, the moth will be killed. That means he passed away by liking the robe so much. Because you are offering a lot of robes, huh? So they keep liking the robes, different robes. It doesn't mean you should not, please keep offering. But monks don't need a lot of robes, huh? No. Only like 3-4 robes. Other robes, they might be kept somewhere. Because it's difficult to carry all these robes wherever you go. Only 3-4 robes carry. Otherwise now there are problems with the luggage, huh? Only 2 luggage, 7 kilo. So you can't bring all this stuff. Otherwise you have to pay extra. So we have to understand that to be surrounded among the Kalyana Mittas. That means it may be difficult, but don't stop the effort. That's why I always believe, if you are, this is not a disgrace to single people. Huh? You might be single, but you may be having a partner, probably a boyfriend, girlfriend, right? There are people who don't want to be married because of financial issues in today's world. But they may be having partners, they may be having their own version of people. Because when you care someone, it is a good opportunity to practice Dhamma. Because you have to tolerate that person. Right? This is the most worry many people are complaining, Bhante, I cannot take care of this person's attitude, you know. If you are single, you just live the way you want. But no challenge to the spiritual life. So then when you are living with someone, after a good decision, now the first problem is the bad decisions and being with the wrong man, wrong woman, right? Other people. Then make it an opportunity to practice Dhamma, make that person the Kalyana Mitta in your life. So easy for you to practice Dhamma also. The Buddha asks us to have 2 Kalyana Mittas. We must have 2 Kalyana Mittas. One is the Buddha, we all have him. Second is someone we have to find out. Who can we find out? If the Kalyana Mitta is inside the house, it's very easy to have that Kalyana Mitta thing. Right? So what I try to say is that Buddhism talks about many things. Buddhism talks about love. Buddhism also talks about how to let go, greed. Also talks about how to let go of unnecessary things at certain levels. So what I ask you is that don't try to hit those very, very deep, hardcore teachings in the first place. You don't have to. And you don't need to. Some of these teachings were given to monks, but they have left their houses. They are not concerned about relationships, right? But for you, I normally say, read the suttas given by the Buddha for lay people, not for the monks. There you can find out what did the Buddha hold about your life. So I recommend, if possible, spend a good life. You may be already with somebody, definitely. Spend a good life. If you don't have someone, I know you at least have a family member. So those relationships are really good to practice Dhamma. Right? How to talk to them nicely, how to keep up with them, how to practice patience, one of the most important quality. And then how to go with them, how to eat together, how to think together. These are challenges. But those challenges are the challenges, opportunities for the practice of Dhamma. Right? So that's very important to understand. All right. Benefits of these proper love. Consistent care leads to trust. Okay. Say for instance, if you see the people who have a lot of domestic problem, haters, you see there are people, when I hear from others, they hate other people, they self-sabotage, and they are good while they were dating, but when they get married, after some time things are coming up. And when I hear these questions, these concerns, what I understood was that one of them's childhood was a time of lot of abuse. That means if the mother, father did not really take care of children, did not give enough love towards them, definitely this will burst in their children's relationships one day. That means definitely we need that importance. Now if you go to a Western country, you see there are a lot of single parents. Now being a Canadian, I know that there are lots of, because government also support, they have to support. It's okay to divorce, it's okay to separate, we give money. And then what happens? That the father's relationship to the son, mother's relationship to the son or daughter, they are not really concerned. So one day, when they are going into a relationship, they don't care about a lot of things in their relationship. So that's why it's very important to understand this part. So that means if you were really taken care by your mother, father, you become a very lovely person in your relationship. So our childhood life really matters. The one who was really taken care by mother, father will be a very good person, mostly, unless he or she was spoiled badly by the mother and father. If they become the mother and father, did their parenting role, and then let them feel that the love, affection from them, they are really doing well. Early experiences are critical, definitely. Now yesterday when I was leading a session somewhere, a young adult told me that she's very scared about something. Her worry was that she's scared to be happy. She's scared to be happy. Now, say for instance that she's thinking to be happy. And then on the other hand, there is another current of thoughts coming up. No, don't be happy. No? If you become happy, you are creating certain unwholesome actions. Because she had encountered some negative experiences in her childhood time. So time to time she is trying to become happy, but time to time she is held back by those experiences. I said, you try to build up your confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. It's not that you want to be happy, it's that Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha always tell us we have to be happy, we deserve to be happy. And then don't take it to you. When you take it to their side, it's a very strong foundation. So early experiences are very important. That means we are lucky enough if we had those experiences. How many people are saying, next life I don't want this family? How many people are thinking like that? Right? So that means they are very important. If you did not experience that good life, at least you give that good life to your children, at least your grandchildren. At least they will be happy one day in their life. Expectations stem from experiences. When they go through bad experiences, then the expectations also will become parallel angle to those experiences. Right? Haters will teach hatred to others. People who have been advantaged by others will teach how to take advantage of other people in whatever the way. Right? So when there is one evil person is going to come, that evil person ruin the whole society. That's why we have to be very careful. We have to teach them this undiluted life, And then if you have a very good relationship with enough love, then you are growing well, you are a very caring person. Okay, different types of the love. You can see secure, trust, comfort, intimacy, and anxious attachment, avoidant. These are psychological ways of looking at love. They are not very important at this point, but just to tell you, they are different. I can share with you these slides later if you want. All right, we come to the Buddhist part now. Definition of greed. It is about constantly craving for more attention, more time, more control at the expense of others. All right. Have you ever experienced this kind of thing from somebody else, or have you done to other people? Have you done this to other people? Have you expected your loved ones more attention? Was it always challenging? Was it always okay? I mean, so, okay la. Have you manipulated your loved ones time to time? You can't do this. You cannot go there, You should be with me. They are pointing fingers now. Right? Have you given them what to do, what not to do? Or you are peacefully, friendly talking with each other? That's a different layer. So that means, but there may be some people who might say, if I don't do that, he will not become a good person. Or she will not become a good person. Right? There are other issues in that. But hopefully, if you have not controlled other people, manipulate other people, if you've given them the freedom, but they understand that you are in the same page with them, then your life is okay. Other than that, I think that is a part of greed. Dhamma wise, what is greed? Lobha. L-O-B-H-A. Lobha? Lobha means, now when you give dana, monks are talking, don't keep lobha, don't keep dosa, don't keep moha. Then lobha means a strong liking about something or somebody. Since morning till the evening, are we really struggling with these things, lobha, dosa, moha? Can you think about these three things? Lobha, greed; dosa, hatred; moha means delusion. Let's leave out the moha part, because we are becoming greedy, we are becoming angry because of moha. If you take lobha, moha, lobha, dosa out of these two, what is the most challenging thought out of these two that is coming up all the time during the day? Is it lobha or is it dosa? Is it greed or is it hatred, anger, whatever the thing? What is coming up oftentimes in your daily life? Mostly anger. Anger is to you, and then others, greed. Dhamma wise, the most prominent, the most recurring evil thought is lobha. If you go to Abhidhamma, they talks about 8 lobha thoughts. Only 2 dosa thoughts, angry thoughts, and then 2 moha thoughts. 8, 10, 12 akusala thoughts in Abhidhamma. That means we are struggling with greedy thoughts for the most part of the day. For the most part of the day, we are struggling with greed. Actually, we are going to anger, hatred also through greed. he is mine, but he done something wrong, so I have to be angry. We go to that state of mind through greed. So anger is a secondary level of state of mind which we are going, because the moment we possess people, then it's very easy for us to become angry. Things don't happen the way that we expect. Things don't happen the way we want, it's greed. So we have to be angry. It's a secondary state of mind. So greed is the problem. The Buddha talks about two types of greed. In Pali we call abhijja, and the other one is visamalobha. Abhijja means greed that you may have with regard to what you have in your life. Can you think about the things that you really like in your life? Really, probably too much strong liking. What are the things that you may have a strong liking, very, very strong liking? Money, wealth, houses. More than them maybe loved ones sometimes. And what else? Let's be honest. When you are honest, you can practice Dhamma very fast. Yeah. When you are not honest, it won't happen. It's some theory stuff, It won't happen. When you are honest, only it happens. Dhamma is going to work because you acknowledge your problem side. Then you want to go to the solution side. You don't have to tell other people your problem. There is other problem then happening. But within your mentality, please accept yourself. Then more journey is going to work. Transformation happens faster. Right? So then what are the things that we are having a strong liking? Loved ones, money, and what else? Friendships, food, fame, success. What a pity if we are to die thinking about noodles and we die on the spot. Mihu, what do you call? Oh, you are different types of noodles and you think and suddenly you passed away with the noodles thought. Pretty bad. Don't know where you're going. No, I mean, that's a pretty pity thought, right? And then if you really understand you died with the thought of noodles and you come to think that, I could have thought about satipatthanas, loving kindness, or dana I gave, but none of these thoughts came to me, but only noodles came to me. That's why the practice is important. If you don't have a practice, all the food will come to your mind. Right? Like what happened to Dharmashoka, King Dharmashoka, right? Ashoka. He done all these things, 84,000 temples. He done the Sanghayana Council. He sent Buddhism to all these countries, even this peninsula, Suvarnabhumi. But what happened to him? He passed away with some anger. It is said that he became a very big python in the Himalayas for a short time. Because he was angry at the moment he passed away. That's why if you really want to die mindfully, have a practice of satipatthana. That means you are doing everything with some kind of understanding, mindfulness and clear knowing, sati sampajanya. So don't mind, whenever you are going to die, you have those two. But funny enough, what's happening is that people don't think about it. The moment that they think about it is only a temple, retreat. They are filling everything with sati sampajanya. And for the rest of the time, is all about lobha, dosa, moha, baggage, misinformation factory that they are carrying everywhere they go. Right? So it's a pity on their life, sansaric life. So first type of lobha is abhijja. Abhijja means, maybe I can write it, there's a board over here. Abhijja. Why did I write this large font size? Because the real lobha is bigger than this. Abhijja. Then the next type of lobha is visamalobha. Visama Lobha. Let me translate. Translate. Abhijja means greed for what I have. Okay, greed for what I have, what you have. Then Visama Lobha means greed for what other people have. Okay, that's enough. Very interesting, right? Abhijja and Visama Lobha. Now that means in order for us to really diminish, to lower our lobha, we have to work on these both. But you may perhaps not think about the second one, Visama Lobha. Do we have Visama Lobha? Do we sometimes really have a strong liking about what other people have? What are the moments or examples as such? Look at that family, That family is so good, right? He got a really good somebody. She got a really good somebody. Children are so good. They are having good things. And what else? What are the ways how people think about other people's life? There you come. I just have to just press the button and all these things are coming up. Expensive stuff.
The other person.
Yes, others won't think about you. So all the things that they are thinking that they don't have what other people have. It's called Visama Lobha. It's a lobha, not a good idea. They have those things because they have done their own good karmas in the past life. If I don't have, but if I want it, I do good karmas in this life if I want. Sometimes there is another way to look at it. Why do I need those things? I don't need those expensive cars. This is the second way to think. I don't need that big house. So I don't want to work hard that much to pay for the mortgage. I don't need those things. I want a simple life. This is another way to look at it. So you can minimize your greed at that point. If you really want, don't try to hide yourself from that. You do more good karma in this life. But don't have greed for what other people have. Another way to look at it, whether you have it or not, sometimes you hear from somebody, another person bad mouth about you. Then you understand, who is that person? I don't know. And your friend is telling you there is somebody out there who bad mouth about you, always talk bad about you. Then you don't know. Why is it? That particular person you don't know knows who you are. He or she doesn't like what you have. Visama Lobha has happened to that person. So we have to be very careful. Lobha is like this. So we have to look at these two areas. Actually, then we know what to do with Lobha. Now, how does this go into a relationship? The love, that our topic today. Now, say for instance, you have a really good family, really good partner, spouse, children. Then why do you want to bring Lobha towards them? Just be happy. Just be happy for what you have. Nothing else. Don't try to bring greed to your that liking. Just be happy that you are blessed. Sometimes you have been creating a lot of skills to own these people. Right? Just be happy. And Visama Lobha, and you have a certain level of life, but don't always go to other people's life and try to compare yourself with those lives. So then you are good. Then you are not bringing greed to your relationship. Now then there are challenges with regard to this Lobha. When someone has Lobha in their relationship, these are the things that are happening. The risk of becoming overly dependent or losing a sense of individuality. One indication that you can cross check that you have low bar in a relationship is that you are going to be overly dependent on the other person. Right? You're always becoming noisy to the other person. Right? Actually, this is not a good idea, right? In a relationship, we should not bother the other person, rather give a very pleasant picture to the other person. Right? This happens in many ways. Right? And the second one, jealousy and insecurity. Feelings of jealousy, possessiveness, insecurity. Second indication that you can understand greed has entered into your relationship is that you're becoming very jealous, you're becoming very insecure, and you're becoming very possessive, right? Those kind of things. Every time you come up with these things, you are trying to press the other person. Too bad at that night. You are becoming a very bad person at that night to the other person because of your not understanding your levels of speech. And then what happens? Conflicts are going to happen, arguments are going to arise, right? And these arguments don't know where they are going to get ended up. So these are the results of greed. And we are talking about a healthy, I would say, allow without greed, not allow with greed. Okay, a couple of things we can do, think about. Self-awareness, reflection about what you are doing, how people expect love in their relationship. Because there are different people who are expecting different ways of caring and all that, right? Now you may have perhaps heard people are talking. They are arguing each other. You don't still understand me. It's a very big statement. After many, many years, 20 over years, you don't still understand me. Right? So, this is a big issue. That means one has to do a reflection all the time. Whether my way is okay. Communication is number one. Another one. A good communication. Balancing independence and togetherness. That means definitely there should be a place for personal space and the closeness. So that means they both have to be balanced out. Not to become very much isolated, not to become too much overly close, to balance. If something happens without arguing each other, seek it from a different background, different interesting place. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our topic again. Is it possible to love someone without attachment? I said attachment is a part of this love. Is it possible to love someone without greed? Yes. Answer is yes. How is this way? We are going to the suttas a little bit now. Huh? I think it's now almost 9 o'clock, so probably we may take another 5-10 minutes for this, and then we are going to go for a Q&A. In the Singhala Sutta, Digha Nikaya 31, the Buddha says there are responsibilities for a husband to the wife and wife to the husband. How many of you have read this, encountered this reading? These are responsibilities. For those who are leaving the houses to become a monastic, have to check whether they have read these things before, whether they have spent a life according to this, and then decided, I done it, but now I want to go to the next level and I want to become such a person. If they haven't read, I think that's really an oversight here. Number one, by being courteous to wife or the partner. That's very important. Right? By not despising her, insulting her anytime. By being faithful to her. By handing over authority to her. Very interesting, huh? By providing her with adornments. Jewelry, yeah? I remember one monk gave a Dhamma talk about this in Canada, in a Sri Lankan house. Unfortunately, the man in that house never gives jewelries to the wife. Always when she asked something, he had rejected. You don't need them. I am with you. So after the Dhamma talk, there was a big argument spark. See, even the monks come to our house, talk about this. You even don't understand until this point. Everybody else understood. So that means it's really interesting to understand these teachings actually. And then on the other side, wife to the husband, she performs her duties well. She is hospitable to relations and attend. This is a big issue. Mother-in-law issues in houses. So some ladies, they find really difficult to keep up with their mother-in-law. So they have to find out better ways to handle these people rather than trying to argue and then make problems, right? So it's something that you have to do diplomatically. And she's faithful and she protects what he brings. She's not squandering, wasting the money. Because this was given according to that time. Nowadays, both are working. At that time, the woman cannot work at that time. So we have to be carefully understanding these things. She protects what she brings. And she is skilled and industrious in discharging her duties. Now recently, I think since couple of years, there is a movement going in the West called Trad Wife movement. You may have heard that one. Trad Wife, traditional wife movement. A Western woman, a white woman is talking that we have to go back to the time. And then there are a lot of problems coming up. But she's a white woman, and then in that society. But there are many people who are joining her, voice up about this movement. It's called Trad Wife movement. But anyways, we have to understand this traditional movement and then the new life that people are going. So anyways, try to understand your roles, responsibilities, so that you can really create a love without greed. If you are not performing, definitely a lot of greed will be coming up into your love relationships. Now when we say love, it's not about relationships. It's about parents and children. It's about anybody, between anybody. Right? Greed can come to that anytime. Second, I picked up this relationship level, so then it's easy to understand. Shared qualities at a shared level. This sutta is very interesting. Patama Samajivi Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.55. Let me tell you the story. There was a couple, 80 years old, Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita. Buddha one day went to their house. In the Sunsumaragiri. You know the meaning of Sunsumaragiri? Crocodile's hell. Why is it? Why they gave Sunsumar is crocodile? Because they had an idea that when they were building the city, one crocodile made a cry at that time. So they put the name as Crocodile's Hill. Sometimes these names are really bad. Now, if you go to some translations of Pali, they directly translate, creating a lot of chaos. And I found a translation called Kukkutarama. Kukkutarama is a temple. The idea is temple built by the banker called Kukkuta. But these white people, when they go to translate, they say chicken's feet temple. Chicken's feet. Kukkuta means chicken feet. But you translate literally, word by word, then you got chicken feet. It's not chicken feet. Kukkuta is a name of somebody. So you can't translate like chicken feet. But if you go to a lot of translations, they translate this to be, because they don't know Kukkuta is a man. They thought Kukkuta is a rooster and his legs were taken here. Chicken feet monastery. In the same way, Sunsumaragiri was translated as crocodile's hill. But anyways, issues with the translation. So Buddha went to their house. Actually, this family is not a strange family to Buddha. It is said that this family, this Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita, were mother, father to the Buddha for 500 lifetimes. So they know them very well. Their father, mother. Plus they are Sotapannas. Another couple like Visakha, Sotapanna couple living together. And then Nakula Pita came to the Buddha and asked Buddha, Bhante, I brought Nakula Mata to my house when I was 20 years old. Ever since I brought her to my house, I didn't have any single thought of thinking about another woman. And because of that, I want to be reborn with her in my next life as a Sotapan. Very interesting. That's why I'm telling a lot of people, they don't read these things. Is it okay? The Buddhas. Then Buddha was a little quiet, and now Nakula Mata was okay, Mom said. Bhante, I've been 60 years of marriage with this man. 20 years I married. And ever since I came here, I married to him. I didn't have any single thought, even a single thought, about another man for these 60 years. And I'm happy to be with him in the next life. What do you think the Buddha, what the Buddha could have thought? Just don't think about it now. Don't think about next life. Anicca, impermanence, And then don't think about the next life this way. No, Buddha said, it's a good wish, appreciate. But it depends on being able to be reborn together exactly with your wife. That thing will be happening exactly depending on 4 things. Let's see here. When both are faithful, generous, disciplined, living wise, then wife and husband say nice things to each other. Buddha talks. And then they get all the things they need, so they live at ease. Their enemies are downhearted. When both are equal in discipline, sila, trust, saddha, generosity, chaga, wisdom, panya. Then the Buddha said, both must have equal discipline, both must have equal trust, both must have equal generosity, both must have equal wisdom. That means samasila, samasaddha, samachaga, samapanya. Please keep in mind, this is a very different context. Samasila, what is the sila to a couple? Is it going to a retreat? Is it practicing precepts every day? Is it taking 8 precepts every day? What is the sila to a couple? Tell me. Being faithful to each other. That's the only thing. It's a very difficult challenge in today's world too. Being faithful to each other is the biggest challenge to everybody. Not even to a teenager. Right? Even to an elderly person. Right? Because a lot of temptations are going around. We should not let temptations take us over. We have to take them over. Not even the people. You go to a grocery shop, you don't know whether you have mindful shopping. You go there a couple months before, there were a couple of stuff, they were very expensive. Now in the season, they have gone down. Now you go there, they are very cheap, they are in the clearance. Now you have a chit, you have a list, you want to buy them. But you see these clearance stuff that you couldn't buy 4 months ago. 2,000, 3,000 bucks now, lower than them. Then they are very catching and they are really giving you a hard time now. I hope that you will not end up with buying them at the end. But unfortunately, there are people who will end up buying them without buying what they're supposed to buy on that day. So that's called unmindful buying, not mindful buying. So in the same way, there are a lot of temptations for the consumer culture, opposite sex, then everything. So we have to bring them under us, not that you let them take you over. So then, samasila means that they both are faithful to each other. What does it mean? What does being faithful mean in that context in today's world? What does it mean? How to become faithful, how to do it in practical life. Now we understand that being faithful is very important, but I think people have done it differently in their time. Now maybe your mother, father time, they done it differently. Right. Now recently I heard a family that they are always arguing each other. That's the way they are loving each other. They are always arguing each other, even for a small thing. He put something They're not supposed to be here. They are keep arguing. And finally children are looking at, this is the way how they are loving each other. Arguing. But they never talk bad words to each other. Right? They don't go to that level. But they are always arguing. Different people argue differently. Yeah? It's a form of expressing. It doesn't mean that you have to argue, but there are people, some elderly people. And sometimes when you are too much caring about somebody, you are always going to become that person arguing. So, what are the ways to be faithful in today's world, in modern world, 21st century? Any thoughts? Huh? Yeah, I mean practical things. Yeah, how do we do it in practical life? Now we are beings of gadgets nowadays. We have online accounts. We are working, most of the things are sometimes in iClouds, gadgets. And then maybe in other places, maybe we have inheritance. How to become faithful in these all experiences in today's world? That means very open to talk about anything, each other, and discuss, plan together, that kind of understanding. And not hiding anything, being honest. That will take you to the Samasila. Samasaddha means equal trust. How to create equal trust? There is one who is very insecure all the time, the other one is okay. How to bring that trust into the other person? So you have to have that conversation keep going. At the same time, have the things going, being in the same page. Sama Saddha. Samachaga, equal generosity. How to become generous together? What does it mean? There are people who are complaining, I spend a lot of time for you, but you don't spend time for me. Have you heard that? Yeah. Why is it? The other person doesn't like to compromise his or her time to this person. But there are people who discuss that we have to spend time together. This is our time. They have a good communication. That is samachaga. So compromising is very equal at that point. Then samapanya, wisdom. When they make decision together. Very important. Sometimes one has already made the decision, other person doesn't know after a couple of days. Now all the problems are coming up again. Right? So when these four things are there among a couple, between a couple, that couple want to be reborn, it will happen. Then you don't have greed. You have a very beautiful life. That is how you're going to have a relationship, love without greed. I think depending on the time, I have to make it short. Every relationship is a chance for personal growth and self-improvement. Maybe it's a bad thing, maybe it's a good thing. There are opportunities for you to grow. Don't blame anybody, don't hate anybody, because they are moments of opportunities. Is a love without greed very important? I would take you to a very interesting place. Consider the Buddha. Who was Buddha's former wife? Yashodhara. Now this Yashodhara story is very important. It is said that he was with Yashodhara for 500 lifetimes. 500. Then that means in order for Prince Siddhartha, as a bodhisattva, for him to fulfill the paramitas, she was the strength behind him all the time. If he was a single man all the time, I don't think he could have fulfilled these perfections. She was there all the time, even in the last life. So, could the Buddha have achieved his ultimate goal of enlightenment without Yashodhara? Even in the last life, she sacrificed more than him. Right? She sacrificed. What was the story? Now, he left the house. He left the house. There's a very big misunderstanding. He left the house without telling other people. It's a wrong statement. In the suttas, it is said he well informed the right people. He came back after many years. And then Yashodhara did not show up in the place where King Suddhodana was there. Then the Buddha went to her chamber, and then she started crying, and she started explaining, ever since I heard you shaved your hair, I too shaved my hair. I don't know whether how many of you know this story. Ever since I heard that you shaved hair, I think probably the day he left, she also shaved the hair. Ever since I heard that you wearing robe, I started changing my clothes into a color of the robe, saffron color at that time. I did not wear these luxurious things that I could wear in the palace. Ever since I heard you eat only once a day, I also becoming somebody who is eating one meal a day. And I was very faithful to you, even you left the house. And then the Buddha said, I know, it's not a surprise to me. Ever since you became this partner to my life in the Chandakinnara Jatak as a mermaid, I understood you have been sacrificing a lot to me. And so I want to bring this up because he had Yashodhara on the side in his Dhamma journey, Bodhisattva journey, he was able to perform. So what more? What more to think? So that means these people are really important, even to practice Bodhisattva things. How to keep a love without greed? What are the basic teachings for that? Let's go and check it out. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka are the first thing. That means we have to always practice in your relationship some level of metta, some level of karuna. That means loving kindness, some level of kindness, compassion. Then to be happy with when other person is going up, and then mudita, equanimity. More importantly, understanding the level of infatuation in your love is a key to determine whether it has devolved into greed, whether you are infatuated too much in your love. Finally, last slide. After reading a lot of suttas and stories and everything and the practical understanding, conditions at the Buddha's time, this is what we can conclude. Love wholeheartedly, but without greed. While attachment is an inherent part of love and necessary for experiencing the richness of life, it's crucial to avoid letting greed seep into your whatever relationships, as it can ultimately undermine your happiness and connection. We don't want to lose our happiness, that proper happiness. Strive to cultivate a relationship where both partners support each other without selfish motives. Ideally, having a partner who loves you selflessly and shares your values can enrich your spiritual journey, providing you with the true Kalyana Mitta, noble friend experience, who contributes positively to your path. This is the ideal state of a Buddhist person's life in a relationship. Not that Buddha kick out people who are having relationship. Buddha always appreciated when somebody has a relationship, try to become selfless in that relationship and try not to bring greed into that, and that relationship can be an opportunity for you to practice Kalyana Mittata, noble friendship, Dana, Sila, Bhavana, and all these good qualities. Right? So that is the idea. So finally I can conclude before we go to the Q&A that we go back to our question again at the beginning. The Buddhist take on love is very precious. Buddha appreciates a proper love, and that love has attachment built in. So we cannot love anybody without attachment. Actually, who brought this concept of detachment? Hindu people. They have a yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. They call it Nishkama Karma Yoga. It's a Bhagavad Gita concept. Bhagavad Gita means part of the Mahabharata. So, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga means you are doing actions without attachments in their way. But actually it is possible with regard to some good work. You are going to give a dana. Even that is not attachment, greed. Give the dana without thinking your personal benefits. Don't offer even a cup of water to anybody thinking, may I get a lot of water in my next life? Because it is complementary. Why you have to think about a cup of water? You are giving a cup of water to somebody, even a monk, thinking, may I get more water, better than this. You will get water definitely, you don't have, it's complementary. You have to think that, may this particular person enjoy, fulfill, satisfy his or her thirst. In that way, always think about what benefit that will happen with your offering, not that what will happen to me, because it will happen to you definitely. You don't have to think about it. The only thing that you should wish is attaining Nibbana. Better to think about, may I attain Sotapatti. Other than that, don't think about, may I become the biggest Deva in the Tavatinsa heaven. May I not become the biggest hungry ghost somewhere in the hell. Unnecessary things. Right? Think about when there is raining, you don't have to water your garden, right? It's raining. So in the same way, don't need to create strings up to these things. So our idea finally is that love without greed. But love is a precious thing if you find the right person, the right people, and do it without greed. I'm not talking about what's happening within the love. More than that, I'm talking, this will really help you to practice a proper Dhamma journey. That is very important. Because one of these people in the relationship will be your Kalyana Mittas. If so, what more? What more benefits you will be getting? Otherwise, you will have to come to the Vihara, find out Kalyana Mittas day by day. But those Kalyana Mittas, so-called Kalyana Mittas, change day by day. Right? Because we don't know who they are. But this particular person I know for 20 years, 30 years, 10 years. I know how he thinks. I know how she thinks. Easy for me to navigate my Dhamma path. Okay, so the answer is love without greed possible? Yes. That's the answer. All right, so now we can take time for the Q&A. Okay. So when you are asking a question, so we can pass two mics. One mic is the mic for the speaker, other mic is the mic for the recording. So please hold like this, one on the other hand. Yeah. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, we open for questions now. Any questions? I'll start the question first.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's a very, very profound teaching. Although it's very simple, we talk about lobha, okay. But then greed is also an emotion, like attachment. So if we say that, then you have to relook at a relationship and say that now we're going to love without any emotion involved.
What you're asking is that
means you have to take up a different context of your relationship.
Is greed an emotion?
Yes.
Yeah, psychology wise, it is an emotion too. What is emotion in Pali? What is the Pali word for emotion? Anybody knows? Sanya. Sanya is the Pali word for emotion. So yes, now when you are greedy about somebody, you have a reference to somebody. You have a past reference to somebody. You have experienced something with that person. So yes, it is a sanya, it is an emotion. So yeah, it's an emotion, a mental state.
So now
emotion.
you have to be like emotionless in your love?
No. I think every love represents a bit of different level of emotions. We don't have to worry about emotions because the way how you love someone and the way how somebody else does is different, right?
Correct.
We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
What we have to worry is whether we bring lobha into that emotion. Lobha part. Love is an emotion. Lobha can be another emotion, but we don't have to bring that lobha into the emotion. Lobha sanya to that emotion. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, open for questions. Any?
Bhante, just now you were talking about lobha, dosa, moha, and we have to be mindful of it. So I believe maybe all of us, especially myself, being bombarded with loba, dosa, moha almost every day. So how can we be more mindful of this, and try to reduce this, or be mindful once this loba, dosa, moha comes up into the mind, and we say, oh, it's up, so be aware of it and be more careful about our actions.
No, we don't have to be more mindful about it.
Okay.
Just be mindful.
But how to be more mindful?
Yeah, let me tell you. Now, by default, our nature of our thoughts, the nature of our thoughts are distracting us all the time. That is how we live. If we are too mindful, then we cannot enjoy life. Okay? That's the flip side of it. That means there is a little bit of spoiling happening within these emotions. So when you experience, let's say you have pleasures. How many pleasures do we have? 6 pleasures. We like to see things, we like people, we like to hear sound that we want to hear, we want to smell things, aroma, we don't like to smell the bad one. We want to taste good food, especially that is a big thing in the experience. And then touch, right? The cozy, comfortable beds, things, wherever you go. And then our mentality, our attitude, our mood. People say, today my mood is not good, don't talk to me. There are people saying that. Something has happened to their mood in the first couple of hours in the morning. Now they have their own ways of experiencing the sensual experience. It's not bad, unless they bring greed. Now you asking me that we are struggling with lobha, dosa, moha every day. Actually, we are not struggling with it. Lobha, dosa, moha are there for us to live. In the samsara, we are living with them. But what are we supposed to do? We should not let lobha, dosa, moha take us over. What can we do for that? We should need a practice for that. It is not a one-day thing. What is our practice? Noble Eightfold Path. So when we are practicing these 8 noble path factors, then we can understand what kind of lobha coming to me, how often lobha coming to me, what is happening to me personally when the lobha comes to me. So I have a reflection, I can have wise attention, so I can really work with these emotions. But just listening to one Dhamma talk will not do everything for you, right? So it's a practice. I would say they are small 8 projects. When you do slow one by one and then finally simultaneously, you will feel that lobha is not doing lot of problems to you at that point. That's a good one. You can check in with that way. Now there are people who might say, I've been listening to Dhamma talks, going to retreats, reading book, but I don't think that there is a progress in my practice. Why? They haven't started practicing yoniso manasikara, wise attention, and then samma ditti, samma sankappa, samma vacha, samma kammanta, samma ajiva, samma vayama, sati samadhi, one by one, and then simultaneous together. Then you understand, compared to 5 years ago, when lobha is coming to me, I know this is lobha. I spot it. I spot it outrightly. I know it. Then I know I will respond to them a little differently. Have you experienced that kind of thing? If so, that means you are really working with the Dhamma to these things. Otherwise, don't blame lobha, dosa, moha. They are there just for us. When you with the practice, you are responding to them in a wholesome way. That's how we look at it. And distractions are also very important. Now you are somewhere and the distractions are coming up. Now say for instance there is a negative person about his or her past. Bad things have happened. What if this person cannot change the mind? No distraction is coming up. Right? It's going to be a very difficult time. It's like vaccinating a baby. They are very scared of needles. The doctors are trying to distract him or her, and then slowly poke it, and the baby doesn't feel it, and baby, when the pain is coming, then she starts crying. So distractions have some different level of benefits, but the distractions we normally have, they are not good ones. So there are 2 ways to look at it. But you can really minimize lobha dosa moha with a continuous, consistent practice over time. You can raise your hand so that he can pass up the mic then.
One more question, two more questions.
No.
Yeah.
Bhante, I want to ask about at the on your deathbed, talking about holding on and not letting go to all the things that you have in life. How will that affect your next rebirth? If you keep on holding on to your family, to your property, to your money, what is your opinion on that? Thank you.
Okay. Rather than my opinion, I would like to look at it from the Buddhist teachings. The question seems to me is like, now the mosquitoes have come into the house. They are biting us. Now we are asking, should we kill them or not? That means, sadly speaking, there is someone who has not been able to practice Dhamma properly. Now things are coming up in his or her mind. Now there is a very short time, he or she is going to die. Definitely because of the last moment, the thoughts that are coming to her or him, rebirth will take effect through the last moment. So I would give you a very wholesome answer for this. For everybody. We are dying, it's a part of this life, not the next life. There are people who are thinking death is a phenomenon that is beyond this life. No, death is a part of this life. Let's embrace it nicely, peacefully. The way how you die will be a different problem, right? But death is a part of this life. So what I can say is that then are we really getting ready for that moment one day? Is it that we have to think about that I die since morning till the evening? No. Then we are destroying our time for doing Dhamma. Because we become very pessimistic about life. Because I die definitely. Why do I have to think about it? That's an attitude only, not a constant thinking. Make it only an attitude, but not a constant thinking. I have to think positive thoughts because I die one day. My constant thinking has to be do more good karma, engage in the Noble Eightfold Path. So when you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, there is a certain area where you are tapping into called Samma Sati, right mindfulness. In that path factor, Buddha asks us to practice Satipatthanas. That means Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma. You don't have to practice all the Satipatthanas. Take one of the Satipatthanas, practice. I would say breath meditation is the most important Satipatthana practice. Through the breath, you are understanding what will happen to you when different emotions are arising, anger, jealousy, greed. It will be easy to spot. Your voice is going to be changed, your breaths are going to be heavy. So when you notice, observe these subtle things, you pick up where you are at with your Kusala practice. So then this practice will level up, help you to stay on to a very interesting level of mindfulness with Sampajanya, clear knowing, mindfulness, Sampajanya. So don't worry, anytime your death will happen, you are going to die with mindfulness and Sampajanya. So then that person must have done these things, homework before. Without doing the homework, expect the, what do you call? Not the C+. Huh? It's going to be a big bad letter grade. So that's why we are advising, helping people to understand this way before these things happening. So that's how we think. So normally if somebody has not done that, the last moment can be a very difficult moment, and then next rebirth will be happening according to that. Yeah, it's like a marathon. In the marathon, there are people who are bringing the baton. You just think about in the last stretch, there is a very experienced runner, like an Olympic level runner, but he is not getting the baton in time. All these 9 people, they are really doing bad. It's the last one. is coming very late to give the baton, but experienced one cannot make it, because last stretch is the most important stretch. But last stretch will be the most important one, depending on how these 9 runners are running. So that means our life in between life and death and the last moment, they all are mattering to us. All right, maybe we can take maybe one more question, depending on time.
Okay,
and we
any
will,
last questions? Anybody?
Hold the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you after a long time. Good.
Yes. Good evening, Bhante. It's good to
Good
see
evening. Yes.
you. Vanami Bhante, Namo Buddhaya. It's good to see you, Bhante.
Yes.
I want to ask specifically about romantic love. So it seems to me, I'm not sure whether this is an accurate characterization. It seems to me that to some extent, at least some degree of attachment is sort of needed or sort of necessarily involved in a romantic relationship. I don't see how a romantic sort of partnership is possible without some degree of attachment. So, and my question is something like, is there any preliminary value or any sort of preparatory value for attachment in any kind of romantic relationship? The reason I'm asking this is, it seems that some sort of attachment is valuable for a marriage and a family, let's say. So I don't know. Without that kind of attachment, it seems like the marriage might not might not be very fruitful. I'm not sure. So for example, in the suttas, there are even there's a couple who even went to ask the Buddha how to be united in this life and in future lives. That seems like a very strong kind of attachment. You might call that loyalty or devotion. I don't know. Is there any kind of attachment involved there? And if there is some degree of attachment, how do we look at that and how do we sort of deal with that?
Were you here during our talk? That's why I got this question. This is what I was talking. I said yes. Without attachment is embedded in the love. It is built in. So we don't have to argue about it. It's built in. Because we have to make a reference to love someone. We have to make a reference to love something. It's built in. But where is the confusion? In English, they are bringing this in English dialogue, discourse. They are talking attachment as the hindrance to that, in a way. We don't take that way. In English, in English, there is only one mind. In Buddhism, many minds. See the difference. If you go to Abhidhamma, many minds, 89 minds. So how do we explain? That's why we have to use English to explain Buddhism, not we have to be the English to talk about Buddhism. Now people have become the English to talk about Buddhism. We have to use English as a tool. So that's what we've been saying. The answer to this question is, actually this question is not appropriate in the way how the Buddhism talks about. I put it because it's the English discourse. Is love without attachment possible? It's not even a question. Attachment is built in, embedded. But is love without greed possible? Yes. That's our emphasis. Definitely. We just talk about the story as well, the whole sutta also, the Patama Samajivi Sutta about Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita.
My question is more on I understand that attachment is built in. I understand that it's more like the degree of attachment. That is to say, how should I describe it? I'm thinking do we encourage a certain amount of degree? Do we, like if let's say we're pursuing a romantic relationship, do we encourage or do we try to develop a higher degree of attachment? How do we deal with that degree? It's more like, because I understand that attachment is sort of, as you have said, Bhante, it's sort of built in. But like when we are cultivating it, do we intentionally or deliberately build and develop that attachment? How do we manage that, or we just
so you are
naturally...
you are asking whether we can quantify the love, right? Right? So
something like that.
We cannot quantify because everybody loves in their own quantification. It's different. So, but this is the problem. The problem is, if we quantify the love, I mean, you can do it in your own way. You know where is your parameter. There's someone who might love in a different way, but they should understand the threshold of infatuation. That one is the greed. So I think that's the greed level. We should not exceed the greed level. Right. Otherwise, I think nobody would like to measure their love, because they're always talking, my love is wholehearted, limitless. So I think it's a disrespect for those lovers. But the idea we can think is that if you are bringing love to a certain level of infatuation, greed, that is not nice. Then you are trying to control the other person. Otherwise, it's okay. Okay, I think there's one more question over here. Yeah.
Bhante, I want to ask, greed means if you are referring to abhijja, greed means
both abhijja, visamana, both.
If abhijja means greed is what we have, we want it more. Is that true? Is that correct?
No, that is an English
we
way.
already have it, but we want to keep it.
No, I don't think so.
Not
That's an
really.
English discourse idea. They talk about need and want.
Okay.
They say what basic needs are needs, what is more than that is a want. Think about this is Buddhist way. Buddhism does not say that there are certain things you should not expect, because different people expect different things. There are ways of life. Say for instance, there is someone who is very rich. He wants to have a couple of cars.
And that's not greed.
Because he can afford. He can afford, and maybe he wants those 3 cars to go to couple of different venues, because he has that kind of a life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like flying in different classes.
Means there's nothing wrong with that.
There can't be anything wrong, but the person who is having 3 cars, bringing lots of greed, and I have 3 cars, you guys have nothing, that kind of a thinking, becoming more infatuated with what he or she has, conceited, that is a problem. Otherwise, if you have that life, you go for it. Buddhism does not limit anybody's freedom to earn money, because if you have the capability only, you can do it.
I'm asking that because linking to the stories that the couples who love each other and wish to be together in the next life, wasn't that greed?
No,
It's
because
not.
they are sotapannas. In the story, they are sotapannas. It's not greed, because they know they already entered into the Noble Eightfold Path, sansaric journey, finished in a certain way. Actually, why they wanted to go for another life in that story is to practice more Dhamma.
Okay.
That's why they wanted to go
the
to,
intention
because
is
she
different.
understands this man will be the best noble Kalyana Mitta for me to do
Okay.
that, and he understands she is the best, so why not?
I see. So
But-
the intention is important,
Intention is important.
the motive.
Yes, and there may be slightly different intentions. Let's say if you take a new couple, they might think at a certain point, I want to be reborn with you one day. Maybe they are loving each other very much. But this love might turn into a level where they care each other's well-being, where they can be spiritual even at a certain time. So I don't think this is bad. Unless they're going to control each other and all that, then it's going to be a problem. Opposite. I think we will finish with this question because of the timing. Yes.
Okay, Bhante, please correct my understanding. Sotapanna, even when we are alive, we can attain Sotapanna. No need to pass on, then enter, the fruits of our cultivation, our path.
Can you rephrase the question again?
Just now, you said the 2 couples, they are
One couple.
The couple,
Yeah.
they are sotapan, right?
Yeah.
So, meaning to say, when we are alive, we can be sotapan now.
Yes.
No need to wait until we die, then we enter the.
No,
the
we learn
fruits.
from them. Become Sotapanna, be reborn together again. That's their plan. That's a very nice plan. Become Sotapanna first. Actually, that's why Buddha approved. If they hadn't become Sotapanna, he might have said something about it. You haven't done anything. You are going to a different, you are taking a risk actually. Yeah.
You want a follow-up question? No.
That's a good idea. Yes.
I cannot, I'm not sure.
All right.
Last follow-up question.
Last and last.
Last
Okay.
and last.
I think we should, yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a very counterintuitive take. It seems like a very counterintuitive take on the value of attachment. The reason I was asking about preliminary value or preparatory value is something like, it seems like in this narrative, in this sutta sort of narrative that we're trying to understand, it seems like attachment has a very strong value. Let's say, the attachment between Nakula Pitta and Nakula Mata, it seems like this so-called attachment, or whatever you call it, this romantic love between them, it seems like it's helping them to do a lot of good things. It's helping them to, support each other on a spiritual path, becoming good Kalyana Mittas, and then even reborn in heaven together, which is like, I don't know, something, I guess, really, really joyful on along the way in the path. So I'm not sure, it seems like we have a very, I guess, negative view or negative description of attachment. But it seems like this attachment has not just a preliminary value, it even has a supportive value, you might say, like to support along the spiritual path. Maybe the Buddha would say until some extent, maybe until a particular point, then maybe the attachment will be dropped. Perhaps, I'm not sure. So all I'm trying to say is like, I was trying to ask, my question was like, what is exactly, how high is this value of attachment? In this narrative, it seems like it's pretty high. I mean, by the sound of it, by how I'm understanding the story. So yeah.
This is the highest value in a way for a couple, because this is more to the Kalyana Mittata, noble friendship. So I think it is very important. It's very important to regard that way. Yes. And because the problem is two-sided. One is that when Buddhist speakers and writers write books about life, they actually disregard, and they write in a little bit of pejorative way about insulting, kind of pejorative way about these kind of things, and asking all the devotees to follow what the monks have followed. This is a misunderstanding, really. Second thing is that we don't know what kind of love that they had between, because we think their love is a love that a young couple is having. We don't know. I think it's a higher level of relationship that they have. It's more than the physical hypersexualistic relationship. More than that. But still a couple. That's a very good example for everybody to be encouraged. All right, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Venerable. A very interesting talk today. So let's all pull our palms together and say sadhu 3 times.
Share the good karmas too.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, today we have generated much good merits. So I'd like Bhante to Venerable to share the merits with all beings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, brother. Now we are going to reflect upon all the good karmas we've been making today. You've been learning about this beautiful, interesting topic where there are a lot of misconceptions, ideas. You learn that it's very important to be in a relationship where you can become a Kalyana Mitta to each other, and not bringing greed onto that, so that this will really help flourish your Dhamma path. And as a person, you can grow, transform. May all these good karmas be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayu. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayu. Idam me ñāti naṁ hotu ñātayu. At the same time, may Devanaga Mahidika also receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you, this Shalam Buddhist Society, or devotees, friends, well-wishers, everybody, your family members. May all you be protected by them for good health, quality of life, and prosperity and safety. Finally, may Devanaga Mahidika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe deva anumodantu, sabbe bhuta anumodantu, sabbe sattha anumodantu, sabba sampatti siddhya, akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahindika, punyantang anumoditva, chirang rakhang tuluka sasanang, chirang rakhang tudesanang, chirang rakhang tumang paranti, chirang rakhang tutvan sadati. In this sansaric journey, may we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas. We've been talking about Kalyana, value of the Kalyana Mittas within a relationship as well. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas till we attain Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make a wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu tu yava nibbana pattiya. While I'm grateful, thankful to all the organizers, Brother Tan and Brother Wu and all the members of management here, Shah Buddhist Society, for this invitation, and wishing may all the good karmas which we've been making today on this Malaysia Day, September 16, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Blessings. Abhivadana silissa nichang baddha pachaino chattaru dhamma baddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And I think after this, we can have a group photo also, and after that.
Okay, before that, on behalf of the Shah Buddhist Society, thank you very much again, Venerable Dr. G. Chandima, for spending your evening here to share the Dharma with us. On behalf of the Shah Buddhist Society, I'd like to invite Brother Wu to give another karma to Bhante. And also to all the devotees who wish to give another karma, can do so after this. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.